this is kind of a related segment to our previous one here, but this was another piece of video that went pretty viral. Mohammed Jalal, is Harris really the lesser of the two evils to the equally repulsive Trump? Genocide must come with a political price. Do not vote Harris. So this is from the Thinking Muslim podcast, a moving section, as he writes. And yes, this is a pretty moving section. This is a few minutes, but this makes a pretty passionate case. We've been talking a lot about this because, you know, people have rightfully pointed out, hey, is Trump going to be any better on this issue? The answer is no. And so people like Mehdi Hassan will say, well, suppose Trump is worse. Shouldn't you vote for Kamala in that case? This gives a pretty eloquent and...
You survived 4 years of Trump. You could survive again. 240,000 Palestinians did not survive 4 years of Biden. You survived Trump. You survived it. Trump is going to be worse than Biden. Let's measure it. What do you mean relative to what happened to the Palestinians? Tell me what is so terrifying that you are willing to forgive the genocide in Gaza. Tell me what scares you so much that you are willing to step over Sidra's lifeless corpse with the legs blown off and say, excuse me, sorry. That you will step over Hind Rajab's cold corpse that was shot at 360 times by the Israelis while she sat in the car waiting for an ambulance that was blown by Israeli tank. That you step over Hind Rajab's body, sorry Hind. That you would step over Reem's body. Tell me what's so terrifying. You step over Reem, Ruh, spirit of my spirit. That you step over the child, you can't identify this child, the head's blown off. You step over them. You step over those 240,000 corpses to get to that ballot box. You step over all of them. You walk by the Palestinian refugees walking by. Where are you going? I'm going to the ballot box. Voting for who? You're too ashamed, embarrassed to say it at that time. You walk to the ballot box. You walk over those bodies, piles and piles of those bodies, drenched in the blood. You see those kids in those images of the hospitals, crushed by the rubble. Their arms are hanging, blood dripping for no other crime than some random people from the West said this land belongs to us. You will walk all over those corpses, go to the ballot box, vote for the one who did it to them, Jalal. Vote for the one who slaughtered them. Vote for the one who massacred them. Vote for the one who continued to lend every impunity to them. Vote for the one who broke the whole international order. To slaughter those children. To slaughter our brothers and sisters. To commit the most brutal genocide. You will cross all of those corpses to the ballot box. You will put a cross next to the name of Harris, the one who committed the genocide with Biden. And you will yell to those spirits and say, I did it for you. You will look at them in the eye and say, I voted this for you. You will say that I voted for the one who killed you. I voted for the one who gave the bombs to slaughter you. More bombs than Dresden. More bombs than Hiroshima. More bombs than Nagasaki. More bombs than World War II. I voted for the one who gave unfettered access to all those weapons. I voted for the one who sent the Marines to help kill you. And you will dare to look me in the eye and say you did it for Palestine. You did it for them. The nerve, the sheer arrogance of it. It's not for Palestine. It's for your comfort. It's for your status quo.
Yes, it's for your comfort. It's for your status quo.
Right. Exactly.
That's hard. I mean, I've watched that a couple of times. It's still hard to watch. Yes. I mean, I would second all of that. The people in Gaza, they have to survive Netanyahu. Think about that. Think about, will we survive Trump? Yes, you will. You already did it once. We'll do it again. The people in Gaza have not survived Biden. That's an important point. They haven't survived Biden. They haven't survived anything for the past 76 years. They have to survive the Netanyahu government now.
Right.
They have to survive Israel. Like the arguments that you have to vote for Kamala Harris because Trump would be worse. Well, I think he shoots that down pretty well. And I think he makes a more profound point, which is to say, look, you could try and mask it all you want, but you're voting Kamala in America because you like Tim Walz's universal free school lunch program, right? And so what's the price of a Palestinian child? A free school lunch. That's what you're voting for, to maintain a comfort, to maintain a status quo here that under the worst of circumstances, suppose Trump wins the election and all of your worst fears about him come true. All of them come true. Even the ones that almost certainly won't come true. But let's say they all do. You're still living high on the hog compared to people who Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have aided and abetted the mass murder of. And I think it's important to have that context. And he puts it as much as I could.
When you really press the libs on that, they'll say, well, what about what Trump's going to do? And the best response to that I've seen is, what is he going to do? Dig up the corpses and kill them again?
Right.
Like, what is don't pretend that your vote is partly harm reduction for the Palestinians. Kamala has emphatically said she does not support an arms embargo. Right. We're going to continue to fund Israel, and she wants to have the most lethal military in the world. So in what respect is Donald Trump going to be worse than that? You can't kill people twice.
Right.
And everything she's saying indicates she's going to give Netanyahu a free hand. There is nothing. Does it look to you like Netanyahu is exercising some kind of restraint because of the Biden administration? There are articles going around now that the U.S. is frustrated because the Israelis won't tell them what they're planning on doing to retaliate against Iran.
No, they said it's going to be a surprise.
It's going to be a surprise.
A surprise. A surprise. I mean, the balls of it, take all the morality out of it. The balls of it to tell your sugar daddy, hey, once you give us the money, we're going to surprise you with what we do with it. We're not going to tell you yet, but send those checks anyway.
To be fair, that ass is pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but Netanyahu just released a video yesterday, basically threatening the Lebanese people to overthrow their government, or else they'll end up like Gaza. Basically admitting that we're mass targeting civilians in Gaza.
Right.
Ryan Grimm asked Morlock, isn't that a terrorist threat? We might cover that on Sunday. There's just so much to do today, and we do have an interview after the show. But yeah, he's making threats, not just against the people in Gaza, but the entire region. What did Tim Walz say on the debate stage against J.D. Vance? He talked about the essential validity of the expansion of Israel. Right. So, look, it's not just about Gaza at this point. And if it were about Gaza, that'd be more than good reason to boycott the Democratic ticket. Kamala and Tim Walz are going to support the expansion of this war to greater Israel.
Right.
Donald Trump will as well. Like, there are just, like, I'm sorry to tell you there are no good answers, but I can't tell you there's a good answer if there's not. What am I supposed to do? Lie? But the rationale that you're voting for the Democratic ticket is some sort of harm reduction, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. How could you even begin to make that argument given what's happened?
Yeah, that's a fig leaf they wear. The finance minister, I forget his name. He's a peach. And we had too much to do today to really pursue this. Apparently in an interview, he just described greater Israel, and not only including Lebanon, Syria, including parts of Egypt, which supposedly is the good country.
Right.
See, we're not actually after people who want to make peace with us. Sorry, right. My Siri is talking to me for some reason. So on the bright side, if there is a bright side, I will say this, and a lot of you have probably noticed this. I have never seen the libs so quiet about an election. Yeah, like some of them, like the dumbest of the dumbest of the dumb will be like, yeah, Kamala, yeah, Walt, but not really, man. They're being pretty quiet about it. Which does indicate, at least to some degree, they know what they're supporting. And they don't want to be out front saying, I support Kamala, and get the 10 responses. Well, what about Palestine? They just don't even want to get into it. It's nothing like when Hillary was running, for example, and
Right.
all day long, I'm with her. I'm with it. You are not seeing that with
No.
Kamala at all.
Nope. No, you are not. And so, look, I mean, as we've said, we've made clear in the past couple of shows, post-duopoly means post-duopoly. We're certainly not for Trump, but we're not for Kamala either. We're not for. I don't see how you can rationalize a vote for Kamala Harris as a method of harm reduction in this instance. And if
No,
this
it
is your
is.
priority and this is your red line, then yeah, that has to be that.
No, what he said, it is a great illustration of the politics of the liberal class. It really is. Well, school lunch and
Right.
the so-called progressives, where they all flipped on a dime. They were flirting. When it was Joe Biden, they would not endorse, particularly, podcasters in our space. And then when it became Kamala, they started to rethink it. Waltz was an excuse. It was really an excuse for all these liberals, particularly podcasters who make their money off libs who like to think that they're left.
Right.
It gave them the excuse they needed to go home to the Democratic Party, which they never really leave. They just pretend to leave the Democratic Party. But when the election time comes around, they run cover for they just function as the left end of the MSNBC spectrum. Like their job, they are the catchers in the rye for
Right.
the liberal class, right? They're out there to grab the outliers and sheepdog them back into the Democratic Party. Waltz was the plausible deniability they needed. No, we're not selling out. Look, the Democratic Party listened to us. They didn't pick the IDF veteran. They picked this.
Right.
They picked this progressive governor. Look, we're having an impact on the party. Guys, come on. Come back in. The water's fine. Come on back into the Democratic Party. And that's it, man. I mean, look, we don't know what happens behind the scenes. We don't know who they talk to. We don't know who they get paid by. But it was pretty funny how just like drop of a dime, flip of a switch, all these commentators ran right back into the Democratic Party.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
Please clap.